Here we have a multicolored macrame plant hanger, and this is how I made it. You want to start with your 13-foot cords folded in half over your ring, and you're going to grab a 2-foot cord and use it to make a gathering knot. Make a loop, bring it back up, and then you're going to start to wrap it around all of your cords, and you're going to want to make sure that you pull it really, really tight as you're gathering all of these cords up. And you just give it a few wraps until you feel that it's secure enough. Once you've made several wraps, you want to bring that cord up through your loop and then pull on the end there, and it's going to kind of gather that knot up into where you were wrapping. So just pull it really tight till it's in the center. Once you have it tight enough, you're just going to go ahead and grab a pair of scissors and cut the two ends. Your next step is to gather your cords up, so you want to put them into sections. Per section, and that should give you 4 sections with 4 cords per section. From here, once you have your sections separated, you want to take some pins and put that just to hold it in place so you can begin putting some knots in. So I'm just going to secure it, and we're ready to move on. So from here, we're going to begin making some square knots. Taking the outer 2 loops, going around, take this one behind, bring it up, pull it through, and then secure your knot. Now push that up into place a little bit, and you're going to finish your knot off, and that will make 1 square knot. Tighten that up, and there you have 1. Let's make another. And then you're just going to make 1 more, making a total of 3 square knots. Now that you have all 3 of your knots here, we're going to make what's called a switch knot by taking the outer 2 cords, making them your inner cords, and then just making it just like you would any other square knot, starting with your left cord, bringing it over your center cords, taking your right cord over your left cord, over your left cord, behind your center cords, and up through the loop. Give it a little pull. When you tug this, you're not going to tug it too tight. You're just going to bring it up a little bit, and you're going to see that it kind of gives it a crisscross pattern. Just finish off that square knot or the switch knot just like you would a square knot. And then let's make another square knot. And then we'll make one more and finish it off with a third square knot. Once you have this step complete, you're just going to want to take your time and repeat this step on all 4 of the sections. Once you've gotten all 4 sections completed, we're going to go ahead and get a ruler, and we're going to make our next knot with a 4-inch space. So we're going to go ahead and move our ruler here out of the way, and we will go ahead and make our next knot, which is a square knot. Sorry, I'm a little out of frame here. But you just want to make that square knot with a 4-inch gap. And then go ahead and finish your square knot off. Okay, so our next step is going to be taking the center cords here, finding the ends. Just keep pulling until you get to the end. You'll see mine are frayed, so it's going to be kind of hard to put a bead on. So to fix that, I'm just going to take a little piece of some blue painter's tape and wrap that with the tape. Once I have it wrapped up, just squish it in place a little, take a pair of scissors, and cut your tape on an angle, which will make it easier to feed your bead through, and then pull it up into place. Once you have your bead in place, you're just going to secure it by adding another square knot at the bottom of the bead. Let's give it a little tug. Finish off that square knot. And that'll hold that bead in place. Then we're ready to move on to the next step. So from here, we're going to make another square knot, making the first loop. And then we want to check our spacing so that we have 4 inches again. So I'm just going to slide that down a little. Grab my ruler, check it. I'm not quite at 4 inches, so just loosen your outer and slide it down until you get it to 4 inches. There we go. And then go ahead and finish your square knot. We're going to go ahead and make another square knot. And then we're ready to make our next knot, which is going to be that switch knot. So we're just going to make a switch knot here. Finish that switch knot off just like you would a square knot. And then make another square knot. There we go. Then from here, you just need to repeat that on the other 3 sections. So from here, you're going to take one of your 8-foot cords, folded in half, and we are going to make what is called a lark's head knot on the outer left here. Going behind, bringing it over, take your cords through the loop, give it a little tug, and then you can slide it up into place. And then you're just going to repeat that with 2, 3, and 4. Now repeat those 4 lark's head knots on the right hand side. Now you're going to take your center cords, bring them over your red cords, and you're going to start making diagonal double half hitch knots, starting on the left, taking the first red cord that's at the top. You make a little loop over top of your tan cord, go behind, pull it through, and then bring it up to the top. It's the first half of the knot. Just repeat that step, loop, behind, pull, and bring it up. And that is one diagonal double half hitch knot. So we're just going to repeat that using all of the red cords on the left. So from here, you're just going to repeat everything you did on the left over on the right, doing a diagonal double half hitch knot here on the left, over on the right. From here, you want to take your center 4 cords and you want to make a square knot. Give it a little tug. Finish off your knot. And then we're going to make square knots on a diagonal as well. So to do that, take 2 cords from the left and your next 2 cords and make another square knot. Once that knot is finished, you're going to take your next 2 with the 2 that are on the left, make another square knot, and continue this until you get to the end of the row on the left. Now taking the 2 cords from the first knot and the next 2 cords, make a square knot here on the right, and then just repeat what you were doing on the left. You're just going to do it on the right, taking the first 2 there, taking the next 2, making a square knot, again another square knot, or finish this step. So from here, we're just going to go ahead and take that center 2 cords, give them a little crisscross there, and we're going to start with our diagonal double half hitch knots again, making another V. And then you're just going to repeat that diagonal double half hitch knot off to the right. So our next step is to make another square knot, but we're going to leave our outer cords alone. Use the next 2 cords on the insides. And we're going to make a square knot over all of the center cords. So you just hold them in place. Bring your 2 cords over, 2 cords behind. Try to bring them up and through. And trying to keep all of your cords as lined up as possible as you tighten it. So just give it a little tug and kind of line it up at the same time. There we go. And just give it a little tug. Make sure it's centered. And then you're just going to finish that square knot off. Give it a pull through. Tighten it up a little. And you're ready to move on to your next step. Okay, using our outer cord here, we're going to use that, bring it across, and do diagonal double half hitch knots down to the center, making more of a diamond shape. As you do this, you want to make sure you're grabbing each cord in line so that they don't crisscross or anything. Now repeat your double or your diagonal double half hitch knot on the right hand side. Until you get to the center. I'm just checking to make sure I'm using the right cords. Once you've completed your last one, this one here, we're going to combine the two main cords together, taking the one on the left over the one on the right, and then finishing that off like this. Okay, next step, guys. Take your 4 cords on the left, and you're going to make a square knot. We're going to do the same thing we did above, only we're going to do it below. So once you finish your square knot here, you're going to pull it up, give it a little tug. Take 2, set them aside, use your 2 on the right. Take the next 2 in line, make another square knot. Tug, set those aside, grab your next 2, make another square knot, give it a tug, and then we are ready to start on the right hand side. So we're going to take the 4 cords on the right hand side, make a square knot, and repeat the steps we just did on the left, but only on the right. Okay, now that we have that done, we're going to do another row of diagonal double half hitch knots, bringing it into a V shape again. And then your diagonal double half hitch knot on the right to finish off our V. Just want to go ahead and complete that. And then I believe our first panel will be complete. Here we go. And then right over left. I'm going to finish that off. And this panel we need to repeat 3 more times, but I'm going to alternate colors. My next one using black quartz. So again, diagonal double half hitch knots, square knots, diagonal double half hitch knot, a giant square knot, some diagonal double half hitch knots to make our diamond shape, some square knots, diagonal double half hitch knots, and then this panel is complete. Now let's join these 2 panels together by doing a row of square knots. So I'm just going to do several square knots here. Sorry, my camera's going a little crazy. But I'm going to do several square knots until it reaches the diagonal double half hitch knot that's down there at the bottom. So you'll see here how far down I go and how many knots that actually makes. This is our 4th one. And I believe this makes our 7th one. Now let's just continue our pattern. Alright, so our next step is going to be doing diagonal double half hitch knots with our tan cords here, adding them into the black and red cords. So we're going to do a total of 4 cords on the left and 4 cords on the right. So just go ahead and do your diagonal double half hitch knots here. A second one to finish your knot. Then we're going to move on to the second one. We're going to do 4 of these. Using the next cord in, we're just going to add 2 diagonal double half hitch knots. And here's our second one. And then we're just going to repeat this over on the right with the red cords. Again, you're going to do 4 cords in red. One more. And then taking your last center cord there, we're going to do 2 diagonal double half hitch knots. One more. There we go. Now you just have to repeat this on each one of your connecting panels. With all 4 panels complete and the bottoms attached, we now have to join the right side and the left side together. We're going to do that using these cords, doing the same method we did on joining each of the panels together. So we're going to start off with making square knots. I apologize for my camera, but you're going to make 7 square knots. So after you finished your 7th one, you're going to go ahead and combine the bottoms, doing the diagonal double half hitch knots. Again, with the red, you want to do 4 cords. One more. There we go. And then you want to do your next one with 2. And now we're going to add our black in. Fourth one. Adding 2. And there you have it. All of the panels are complete. It is now attached and you're ready to hang it and finish it off. So here I have it in place, and I have the bowl that I want to put in for my planter. So you're just going to put that in its place. Just kind of tuck it in, get it right where you want it. And then you're going to start gathering up the cords at the bottom, trying to keep them as lined up as possible. Once you have your grip on the entire bottom, you're going to grab another cord, probably 2 to 3 feet long as well, and make another gathering knot. Not as easy to see right now, but we saw one in the beginning of the video. You just want to wrap it around and keep it as tight as you possibly can. As you're wrapping it, pull it tight. As you're wrapping it, pull it tight. Once you think it's aesthetically pleasing at the bottom, then you can go ahead and put it up through your loop and tie your gathering knot. Just pull it through as tight as possible until it's into the center. Since we're going to be cutting our tails, that bottom one can just hang with the rest of them. You just need to cut the top one. Once that's trimmed as close as possible, you decide on how long do you want your tail to be. I wound up wanting it to be a little bit shorter than what it is now, so we are going to lose a little bit of cording. Not a whole lot, but we'll find something to do with our extra. Okay, so you just get to the length you want it, grab your scissors, and start cutting. And there you have it, a multicolored macrame plant hanger using almost every knot that I know how to make. We added beads, switch knots, square knots, diagonal double half hitch knots, Larks head knots. We used a lot of different knots. I think it turned out really nice. If you guys enjoyed this or tried it and want to share how yours turned out, I think that would be great. So if you liked this tutorial and you found it useful or helpful or even just entertaining, can you please give it a like or maybe share it with those that might be interested as well. And there we have it. You guys have a great day.